Gilgaboo, Gilgaboo, Gilgaboo.
Gilgaboo the Jarrow, Manx forever, as falch eru gus Goll Gaccan.
Manx Radio Weather with Manx Glass and Glazing.
Well, be a chirum le shell and gel na grianach dew as gia nia na shia as fes na mianach. Ni an temperalus giri gus feed Celsius. Hig flia rish vian shia fud na hi as be a flioch as fi giach sa tajach merach le shell and flia trubm as gia nyatel na gel chit vian jas. Clabanan edda died na quegad mila sa nuar the likely. Ni an gia chinde the hit find shia na samma savora och bia fos nyatel houds vissen flia ludica gus frasnige. Be an temperala smooth nice Celsius jeg merach. And reet be frasnige on sa tajach gemurt as esh be le chirum as gjal on lesh gia nia nyatel vis ludica begin a vegan fine lay. Irina grenia quegminidus feed roche merach. Lina grenia care minid jeg lugnai dew. Generally dry with bright or sunny intervals today, light to moderate west or northwest winds with temperatures reaching up to 20 degrees Celsius. Rain will then move in from the west overnight, bringing a wet and very windy start tomorrow, with spells of heavy rain and strong to gale force southerly winds. Gusts of 40 to 50 miles an hour are likely. The wind will then turn to the west later in the morning, but remain strong as the rain clears to occasional showers. Maximum temperature of 19 degrees C. The outlook, a few showers at first on Tuesday, then dry and bright as the strong westerly wind gradually eases through the day. Top temperatures of around 18 degrees C, and the sunrise 5:35 a.m. tomorrow, sunset 9:14 p.m. this evening.
Manx Glass and Glazing can supply and install single, double and triple glazing. Call 674 573 or visit the showroom on the Snugborough Trading Estate. Gallas Gaccan, brought to you by the Gaelic Broadcasting Committee.
Take the National Express when your life's in a mess. It'll make you smile. All human life is here, from the feeble old deer to the screaming child. From the student who knows that to have one of those would be suicide. Eternal pride, and everybody sings. Yeah. All right, we're going where the air is free. On the National Express, there's a jolly hostess selling crisps and tea. She'll provide you with drinks and theatrical winks for a sky-high fee. Mini skirts were in style when she danced down the aisle back in '63. But it's hard to get by when
we are. Good way to start the programme. The Divine Comedy National Express. Well, I really was hoping that I was going to be tasting some gooseberry jam today, added to which I was going to be sharing some gooseberry chutney, which was being made a few hours ago. Unfortunately, poor Kinla has got a touch of the murran, so he's not going to come in today, which is probably not a bad thing for me. I don't suppose it would have mattered too much for you, the listener, but yes, Kinla's full of the murran, and he was coughing and wheezing and didn't want me to catch it, which is kind of him. Very kind of him, I think. Yes, indeed. Well, I don't know. What have you been up to this week? It's been not too bad. Next week is not looking so hot, is it? Well, hot temperature-wise, but not in terms of what the weather's going to be like, particularly tomorrow. So expect in the second hour lots of weather-themed songs. I've found quite a few interesting ones there, which we'll certainly be listening to. And we've got a good smattering of world music. We would have had more of that, only I've managed to get the new Mishra CD that I'd bought specially with which we've played Mishra on the programme before. Unfortunately, that's jammed in the CD player at the moment. Fortunately, there's 2 or 3 players, so one of the other CDs I brought is going to be available. So we'll hear some of that later as well. Annie and I were up very briefly not so briefly. We were up for a while, but we only so far we've only made one of the wonderful week of Maughold week events that have been taking place in Maughold. We heard a fantastic talk about about St Maughold. So we'll hear a bit about him in the programme, and possibly even have a few Padja Colm Killia's prayers sung around that too. And what else we got? Oh yes, and of course August Lunaston. Lots of very interesting customs associated with that, which perhaps some of which you wouldn't want to repeat on the wireless set. Maybe you would, I don't know. But anyway, we'll hear the versions of those customs that are reasonable and decent to read out. However, enough whittly-wattly, rimmerly-rumbly stuff from me. We're going to hear now, what is rimbly-rumbly? I don't know. Whiffly-waffly, I think was the word I was looking for. We now have a piece of music from Medja. And it's all about the money, apparently. And then after that, well, yes, we'll play then into Whitney Houston, which is resurrecting the Sunday smoothie that Simon was so fond of when he co-hosted these programmes with me. But first, all about the money from Medja.
As Manx's white horses in the bay, Manx Radio.
Strange fail to understand. It's all about the money, all about the dum dum da da dum dum. I don't think it's funny to see us fade away. It's all about the money, it's all about the dum dum da da dum dum. And I think we got it all wrong anyway. 'Cause it's all about the money. It's all about the money, all about the dum dum da da dum dum. I don't think it's funny to see us fade away. It's all about the money, all about the dum dum da da dum dum. And I think we got it all wrong anyway. It's all about the money, it's all about the dum dum da da dum dum. I don't think it's funny to see us fade away. It's all about the money, it's all about the dum dum da da dum dum. And I think we got it all wrong anyway.
Guller's Gaccan, brought to you by the Gaelic Broadcasting Committee.
Love is what we make it. We can make it something lovely. So don't desert me. Instead, learn to trust me. And love is what we make it. So make it love. Oh, Lord. Love is give and taking, also making the best of nothing. Let your reaction be one of compassion. And love is what we make it. So make it love. Why work against the grain? You tried so hard to grow. Why should we work in vain when in your heart you know? Why work against the grain? You tried so hard to grow. Why should we work in vain when in your heart you know? Love is sacrifices and sweet devices toward one another. So let's discover what love has undercover. And love is give and taking. Love is sacrificing. And love is what we make it. So make it love. Make it love, yeah.
Whitney Houston there, yes, Whitney Houston. And that was Love Is, 2024 mix, it says, which I'm sure it is. So yes, the resurrection of our Sunday smoothie, which used to be a popular feature, I believe, in Guller's Gaccan's past, when Simon co-hosted with me on the programme. So, I mentioned earlier about I actually mentioned about Columcille, but I didn't mean Columcille. I meant Maughold, and of course it is Maughold week coming to a conclusion today. But had I known more about it, I might have told you a bit more about it last week, but for whatever reason that seemed to pass me by. However, we'll go to our wonderful book, Island Heritage by William Cubban, and William Cubban writes the following about the coming of St Maughold. As we've seen, the wise and holy man named Germanus was given to us by St Patrick, and not long after one Maccool of May Island, County Down, was brought into the fold, and he in time became our St Maughold. According to Loca Praticiana, it happened in this wise. And it's fair to say that the reason I'm reading this about St Maughold is because Annie and I went to a wonderful talk by Ian Foulds yesterday at Maughold Church, all about St Maughold, and he was very clear that perhaps all of the stories that have been written about Maughold are not wholly reliant on the truth. Some have some glimmers of truth in them, others less so. And I'll read this account anyway from William Cubban's book, Island Heritage, and I'll let you know at the end how much of this seems to be based on some semblance of truth, and where perhaps the telling of a good story makes it differ from what we know to be true. Anyway, in St Patrick's time there dwelt a certain wicked chieftain named Maccool. Impious he was, he used to slay the congregations. On a certain day Patrick with his companions went past him, and he desired to slay Patrick. Maccool said to his people, "This is the falsifier who is deceiving everyone. Let us go and make an attack upon him to see whether his God will help him." They got a man of his household to feign as if he were dead, to be brought to life by Patrick, and they put a mantle over his body. "Hail for us our comrade," they say to Patrick, "and make prayer to the Lord that he may raise him out of death." "By God's doom," saith Patrick, "'tis not strange to me that he should be dead." His people cast the mantle from his face and found him dead. They were silent and said, "Truly this man Patrick is a man of God." Maccool, throwing himself on his knees before St Patrick, besought him to intercede for his comrade's restoration. The apostle knelt by the dead body and did not cease to pray till the breath of life entered it again. All the band vowed to embrace the faith, and Maccool besought the imposition of rigorous penance on himself. Patrick conducted him to the Boyne, and taking a chain from a boat, he flung it around Maccool, secured the end by a padlock, and threw the key into the river. He then made him get into the boat and trust his course to Providence. "Loose not your chain," said he, "till the key, which now lives at the bottom of this river, is found and delivered to you. Strive to maintain, with God's help, a spirit of true sorrow. Pray without ceasing." And he then unmoored the coracle, and it drifted down the river, and so out to sea. Well, much of that does have some semblance of truth. And certainly the story about Patrick being set out in a coracle, and of course the coracles were very much designed to be river craft, not to be allowed onto the open sea. So casting him down the river out to sea in a coracle was almost a death sentence. Although, as we'll find as we go a little bit further into this account, St Maughold did seem to survive the ordeal. Well, I'm going to try now, assuming this CD doesn't get swallowed up by the system, I'm going to try and play you a CD. This is a little bit of world music, which we do occasionally play on the programme. This is Issa Bagayogo by Q Mawele, who is from Mali, from the album Tasu Makan. And what else does it say here? It doesn't say an awful lot of particular interest. So we'll listen to the piece of music and see how we go.
Mama menen morson fo modumin tokola. Meni rofo bugere tokola. Sigu sala meni rofa togola kasada sangare meni rofa togola sigu sala sangare meni rofa togola ilay juro vom mange more mole ngamori mole ma sene kayla bugere lenga mori mole ma sene kayla bugere lenga mori mole mori deni berela se wazan langa sangare mole mole ma ko kayla marale lenga sherif mole mori mole sile sulu golo ya saya Bukari ni koni robi wole mama murgen ba fota yi mago nyana Bukari ale de kodum Bokari sigu salam kone ka murge ka kolosi mina wala sigu sala sangare ko demisani do ni roba wole ni roba wole madan cheet fo atra ni roba wole be bomo ilay juro mama nge mori mawale amane kaila baba lenge mori mawale mama nge mori mawale karalo kaila musa sangarenge mori mawale turaba kaila broma jalonge mori mawale oma po kaila marani lenga sherif wale mori mawale omorone sile sulu ya saya morilo sajuna no Jalo gafle fenga murke bukari roba wala murdendu murko lo sitigido eninka wala me murke me wala madan chefu aitra ko aitra jangaw ka aitra ni roba wala amani ababa amen fo murdenye lake mata na tieni roba wala Ilay juro mama nge mori mawale mori denu brela se usala nge mori sangare nge mori mawale mori de berela sada lenge sada mawale ge mori mawale mori dino berela bogare lenge bogel wale ge cheyi mawale bangoroni sile sulu wolo yasa ya mare mori sajuna mare
And there we go. That was, who was it now? Number 7. What did, there we go. I've got it all mixed up here. Issa Bagayogo by Q Mawele. And I have discovered a bit more about him. He is, where did I see him there? He's in here somewhere. How can you find a thing and then lose it almost straight away? Is that just me that does things like that, or is it everybody? Because I had it here, I really did. Anyway, I can't seem to see it. Oh, here we are. Issa Bagayo. Right, so it's Issa Bagayo. Bagayogo is the fellow's name, and he was raised in rural Mali. And as a child, he began playing a kamele ngoni. Which is a 6-stringed traditional Malian hunter's harp. In the 1990s, he travelled to the capital, Bamako, where he met engineer Yves Yernet and guitarist Moussa Kone. Together, they had the idea of fusing traditional Malian manding and wassoulou music with techno. And in recent years, the boy who grew up in the unwired sandy outskirts of the Sahara has been dubbed Techno Issa. So there we are, Issa Bagayogo. And that, yes, a bit of world music there for us. Not the bit of world music I was hoping for, which is now jammed in CD player number 1, but that was just as good. Right, next then, we'll carry on because poor St Maughold has been cast out to sea by St Patrick. And as I say, this is deemed to be a life-threatening event for him. Anyway, in 20 hours, it was lying by a little harbour in Man. So it only took 20 hours to get over from the mouth of the Boyne across the Irish Sea. So lying at the little harbour in Man, and those who assembled wondered much at the robust form of the navigator, his dejected appearance, and the chain that bound his body. On making inquiry for the abode of a Christian priest, he found 2 wonderful men in the isle before him, and it is they that, preaching God's word in Man, and through their preaching the men of the island were baptized. Conindrus and Romulus were their names. Feeling a strong vocation for the clerical office, he studied unremittingly, and at last came to the eve of the day on which he was to receive holy orders. On that evening, the cook, suddenly entering the room in which the bishop and postulant were conferring, cried out, "Behold, O my master, what I have taken from the belly of a fish just brought in." McCool, catching sight of the key in the cook's hand, recognised it as the one with which St Patrick had secured his chain. It was at once applied to its proper use, and he had the happiness of being ordained the next day unencumbered by spiritual or material bonds. He learned the divine rule with Conindrus and Romulus, and he took the bishopric after them. He is said to have been Bishop of Man for 56 years, and he died the 25th of April, AD 554. So Shearman, in a footnote to the story of McCool, says the saint's birth is April 25th and is variously called Macphail, Magul, Macaldus and Maughold, the name by which he is best known in Man. The 3rd, 4th, 5th and 6th lines in the Trias Thaumaturga give his history. His memory was held in veneration in Ireland. A church of Clonsilla near Dublin was dedicated to him. His principal church in Man was in the parish of St Maughold. He was consecrated Bishop of Man around 498. He is called Macutus in the story told of him in the Chronicles of Man around about AD 1135 that was written. So it's fair to say that account will have some embellishment. There's no doubt about that, but it does give you a reasonable understanding of St Maughold. What is less obvious from that account is actually just how important St Maughold appears to have been in the years that followed his death. Certainly if Ian Fold's research is correct, and Ian has looked at various manuscripts which are emerging around the various parts of Europe, so certainly as far afield as Italy, there are accounts of how important St Maughold was, and his talking about his kind of road to Damascus conversion, from being a bit of a thug and a ruffian to being such a saintly person, and holding this up as a great example. And yes, certainly Ian Fold's suggestion, which was gently dropped in our ears, was that maybe, just maybe, St Maughold in his time was as important, if not more important, than St Patrick. A very, very interesting talk. If you ever see that Ian Folds is giving a similar talk at some point in the future, well worth going along for a listen. Anyway, it is, oh gosh, look at the time. Right, let's play some of these jingly fellas.
As Manx as the Liverpool Ferry Terminal, we are your Manx Radio.
The Nation Station, Manx Radio. Station Nation Radio Vannin.
And that is our cue, first of all, for the very late weather forecast. So we'll start with that. Bia chirum le shell and Gael na grianach due as gia near na shia as fest na menach. Niant hig flia rish vain shia fud na he as bia fluch as fear giach sa toshach merach le shell and flia troben as gia nyatel na Gael vain jas klabanen ether died na quegad mila san ua the lickly. Och bush the G be frasnage on satajak jemurtas esh be le chirum as gyalon. So generally dry and bright with sunny intervals today, but rain will then move in from the west overnight, bringing a wet and very windy start to tomorrow, with spells of heavy rain and strong to gale force southerly winds, reaching 40 to 50 miles per hour gusts. The wind then turns to the west in the morning, but remains strong for the rest of the day. Few showers at first on Tuesday, then dry and bright, but the strong westerly wind will gradually ease. So that's that bit of well past half past cue. The other bit, of course, is that we have a bit of music, and this is definitely one to pull back the tables and chairs in the kitchen and have a good jig and a dance to, because this is the mighty Mechlia with The Ram.
Galas Gaccan, brought to you by the Gaelic Broadcasting Committee.
clear with the ram there. And yes, I did warn you, didn't I? I really did. Who have we got? Oh yes, Graham says, fast am I, mine's gone. Loved that little marvellous musical moment. Jigged all around the living room. Did you in Studio 2? Yeah, well, I am in Studio 2. I'm not sure quite what that means, but yes, I am, and more please. Well, yes, certainly, there'll be lots more. Yes, well, I've had a little message here from Kinla, and I'll be giving you some of Kinla's advice for how to cope with the big storm that's coming. But before we do any of that, what's he called? Zach Colligan. Here we are.
I don't know if I fell, would you fall with me? I just hope that the landing ground you well. And while I've changed, I will still recall the guy I used to be. Although it's clear that you're better with someone else, it's just a thought after all, and just a thought. It's just a thought after all, just a thought. When I dream, I tend to forget what is really true. I conceive that the real version of us hides in a shell. And whilst I guess the world requires the practice of virtue, I long to change the way I feel about myself. But it's just a thought after all, just a thought. It's just a thought after all, just a thought. How could I fall into before my heart loved to soar? It's just a thought after all, just a thought.
And that's Zach Colligan with Just a Thought. So, on another thought, we've got... Who have we got next? We've got Bob Marley with Exodus, which... let's have a look. Where's that? Yes, there he is. We'll gradually play into this because just running a little bit over time here, but we'll catch it up, don't worry. Yes, I know what to do. Good. So yes, Bob Marley next with Exodus.
Movement of the people. Oh yeah. Heaven, let me tell you this. Men and people will fight it
Manx Radio Weather with Manx Glass and Glazing.
Well, yes, the weather. Let's have a look at it now. Bia chirum le shalan gyalna grianach due as gia nia na shia as fast na mianach ni an temperalus giri gus feed Celsius. Hig fliarish fayan shia fud na hi as bia fliok as fia giach sa tajach merach le shalan flia troben as gia nyatel na Gaelg chit fayan jas clabanan ether died na quegad mealis anua the lickly. Ni an gia chinde the hit fayan shia na sammas abora ach bia fos nyatel houds vis an flia ludica gus fras na gea. Be an temperalus moon 9 Celsius jeg and rate be fras na gea on sa tajach jamurt as ash be le cherum as gyal on lesh gia nia nyatel vis ludica began a vegan fayan le. Temperalus moo hawk Celsius jeg. So generally dry with bright or sunny intervals today, light to moderate west or northwest winds, I think I said southwest in the Manx version, with temperatures reaching up to 20 degrees Celsius. The rain will then move in from the west overnight, bringing a wet and very windy start tomorrow with spells of heavy rain and strong to gale force southerly winds, gusts 40 to 50 miles an hour probably. The wind will then turn to the west later in the morning but remain strong as the rain clears to occasional showers. Maximum temperature of 19 degrees Celsius. The outlook: a few showers at first on Tuesday, then dry and bright as the strong westerly wind gradually eases throughout the day. Top temperature of 18 degrees Celsius. The sunrise will be at 5:35 a.m. tomorrow, sunset 9:14 today. Irina Grania, Queg Minidus Fidro Shea Merach, Lina Grania, Kier Minajeg, Lugnai Jew.
Manx Glass and Glazing are proud sponsors of the Royal Manx Agricultural Show, taking place on Friday the 8th and Saturday the 9th of August at Knockcalo Farm. Gullas Gaccan, brought to you by the Gaelic Broadcasting Committee.
Cause you're a sky full of stars. I'm gonna give you my heart. Cause you're a sky full of stars. Cause you light up the park. I don't care, go on and tear me apart. I don't care if you do. Cause in the sky full of stars, I think I saw you. Cause you're a sky full of stars. I wanna die in your arms. Cause you get lighter the more it gets dark. I'm gonna give you my heart. I don't care, go on and tear me apart. I don't care if you do. Cause
And that was Coldplay with A Sky Full of Stars. Well, there's always one of those, I suppose. The problem is when it's covered with clouds and you don't actually get to see them. However, I promised that I would mention something of the Lunaston or Lair Lunas customs. And yes, some of them are readable, outable, others less so. But before we get to there, of course, the 31st of July, Lel Maughold Toji, the first feast day of Maughold. There is a parish named after St Maughold, and we were hearing about him in the first hour. And there were 2 days connected with him. This one, which is the 31st of July, but I guess that'll be the 10th of August in the old style calendar. And then the November the 15th is the other one, which explains the suffix Toji, i.e. the chief or foremost of the feasts. Lel Maughold Toji. So yes, we won't go into all the legends of Maughold again. Suffice to say that Maughold may well have been more important than many of us might imagine. Particularly in the medieval world, he did seem to have a bigger reputation than perhaps we realise, and certainly Ian Folds is doing a great job in finding out more about how influential he was. However, Lair Lunaston, Lair Lunas or Lammas Day, Lunasta in Scottish Gaelic, of course, which is either the 1st of August or sometimes the 12th of August, depending on the new and the old style calendars. And there's always a saying that goes with these important times. Ta rot murran a lunas falmach and hidden tui en nonna liena. So ta rot murran lunas falmach and hidden tui en nonna liena. So the great Lammas springtide empties the northern sea or else fills it. And that's that's a proverb. It's not entirely clear what it might mean, but possibly something to do with herons. Certainly in a manuscript formerly belonging to Dr. Clegg, from which Mr. Wood copied this saying, he adds, with herrings, as an explanation. But it seems to be the very high and low tides that are preferred. So note on the proverb under Lel Parlen, August the 24th. At the Launus, they also looked for gales of wind, which they called Gaccan a Launus, between the 2 Lammas days, that is the 1st and the 12th of August, and was considered the right time to cure herrings for the winter stock. The herring would be at their best then. So that was according to Caesar Gaccan. And it does sound like Monday might be the day then. That might be the day to be curing your herrings, because I wouldn't think there'll be many people wanting to be out on the sea on Monday by the sounds of that weather forecast. And we have a few weather-related musical items coming up. The first of which is this one by Elbow, which is Gentle Storm. And then after a few adverts, we'll hear from T-Bone Walker with Stormy Monday, which seemed appropriate.
Making the island feel good. This is Manx Radio.
Fly swift and true, straight to you like an arrow, just to be where you lie. Meet my quest, do my shambling best to be near you, where you lie. I found peace in your arms.
so storm. Rage away and fall in love with me. Fall in love with me. Fall in love with me. Every day. They call it stormy Monday, but Tuesday's just as bad. Yes, they call it stormy Monday, but Tuesday's just as bad. Wednesday's worse, and Thursday's also sad. Yes, the eagle flies on Friday, and Saturday I go out to play. Yes, the eagle flies on Friday, and Saturday I go out to play. Sunday I go to church, then I kneel down and pray. Lord have mercy. Lord have mercy on me. Lord have mercy. My heart's and misery. Crazy about my baby. Yeah, yeah, send her back to me.
And that was T-Bone Walker with Stormy Monday. And it does look as though we're going to have a bit of a stormy Monday. Well, Kinla was hoping that maybe I could have translated the shipping forecast, but I didn't quite get time to do that. But and for those expecting Kinla to be here, and for the wonderful popping sound of gooseberry jam being opened live on the programme, as well as gooseberry chutney, sadly you'll have to wait till next week, assuming Kinla recovers from the murran, which has afflicted him bad. So he's laid up at home. But what he did say, he sent me an email and says, Philly, it's only a force 8 tomorrow, so that's not so bad. But if you do the shipping forecast after 5, it would be nice to do the Hebrides for them, as they have a violent storm 11 coming in. Gosh, that is pretty blooming windy, isn't it? Give it to them in Gaelg, he says, with a little heart. And then Kinla advice is bring in your rabbits. So yes, any rabbits out there, it's probably best that they're not tomorrow. We've got some late peas. There's a kind of main crop peas and some runner beans that were planted a bit late, and they're just getting to the end of the smaller canes we've got. And we were thinking about putting some more strings in and maybe giving them a bit more height. And I said to Annie, well, I think maybe we'll leave that. We'll leave it till Tuesday, because if we did put the big stakes in, chances are they'd be lying flat on the ground by the sounds of this big storm that's coming. But then you never know. Maybe it won't be quite as bad as they say. I hope that is the case, certainly for the people in the Hebrides. Violent Storm 11 doesn't sound like something you'd be hoping for your summer holidays. Well, we haven't heard for a few weeks now from The Who, and that is one of the CDs that hasn't been swallowed up by my by the CD player. To be fair, it's only one CD that doesn't seem to be wanting to play anymore. But what we have is The Who, and let's have a listen to The Who, the Mongolian metal band. You should be able to tell that these boys are from Mongolia anyway.
Gullas Gaccan, brought to you by the Gaelic Broadcasting Committee. As Manx is skeeting and blowing a hoolie. Manx Radio.
The Nation Station, Manx Radio. Station and Nation Radio Fanning.
And that is our cue for the... Well, we're early. You see, we were late with it before the 5 o'clock news. It was about 36 minutes past 4 before when we had the weather update. And here we are now, 15 seconds, and we're not even at 5:30. But the weather you shall get just the same. Be a chirim le shallan Gaelg grianach due as gia nia na shia as fers na minach. Ni and well, na shia hui fers na minach. Ni an temperatures gerigus feed Celsius. Hig earish fai and shia fud na hi as be a flioch as fear giach so tajach merach le shallan flia trum as gia nyatel na Gaelg chit fai and jas. Clabban ever died na quegged mila sanua the lickly. So generally dry with bright or sunny intervals today, light to moderate west or northwest winds, with temperatures reaching up to 20 degrees Celsius. Rain will then move in from the west overnight, bringing a wet and very windy start tomorrow with spells of heavy rain and strong to gale force southerly winds. Gusts of 40 to 50 miles an hour are likely. And Kinla's special weather warning, bring in your rabbits. Well, the other thing, of course, that we had is our cue there for a Manx track. And this is a more of a gentle reflection over a cup of tea sort of piece of music. And this is the calm after the storm. Irina Grania, written by Bob Carswell, and on this occasion sung by Ruth Gaccan.
Guller's Gaccan, brought to you by the Gaelic Broadcasting Committee.
Father has lent and Saljanich. La Gaelg Gula Badran Glass. Tan Green Saljan Kalia Chas. Irina Grania Harshavu. Jochanu Tan Lechidre. Irina Grania Harshachi. Shinya Mahitsa Saljanle. Druchte Dollar as Dazen a Thrain. Shema Painta Gassas Bla. Ta Nolach Dustan Sanai. Jayanush Jarur Targunan Sai. Irina Grania Harshachi. Shinya Mahita Saljanla. Chasid na Granians man and Vegveen. Tanchias a chin and Layak Fay. Tashid a Varimus Geri Maha. As Ginny Crescal and Chaspan La. Oh, Satana, Linson Astamai. Tan Sara Chit, Gas Chimachrai. Chasid na Granians man and Vegveen. Tanchi as a chin nan Layak
Ah, that is beautiful. And that was Ruth Kegan singing Irina Grania. And I did promise you earlier, so yes, we're going to do this. We're going to have a double Manx track. I did promise earlier that we would hear Padja Colum Killia, even though I did get Colum Killia and St Maughold mixed up. But yes, let's have a listen now to Skeel's version of Padja Colum Killia. And not St Maughold, but Colum Killia just the same. And that was Skeel's version of Padja Colum Killia. Well, we were looking at some of the printable versions of what tricks they got up to Lair Lunas. So August the 1st, kept since the change in the calendar on August the 12th, is called Lair Lunas, or Lair Lunas, different spellings, Luanys or Lunys, Lunas's Day. This name was probably originally associated with the Celtic god Lug or Llew, as he is called in Wales, who, as he was said to have been brought up at the court of Manannan, was closely connected with Man. In Ireland, his festival, called the Luughnasad, or the Wedding of Lug, was celebrated on this day by a fair at which games and sports took place. In Man, too, there was, within living memory, a great fair in the parish of Stanton on the same day. This festival was, according to Professor Rees, the great event of the summer half of the year, which extended from the calends of May to the calends of winter. The Celtic year was more thermometric than astronomical, and the Lunasad was, so to say, its summer solstice. The fair has disappeared, but the ancient custom of visiting the highest hills and sacred wells on this day cannot be said to be altogether extinct. Well, Annie herself took a trip up to the top of Barul yesterday while I was... What was I doing? Was I weeding carrots or something? Anyway, the church attempted to put an end to this custom and failed, but contrived to give it a religious character by changing the date of its observance from the first day of August to the first Sunday in that month. The following representation made to the ecclesiastical court by the curate and wardens of the parish of Lonnan in 1732 will show that this custom was prevalent at that time, and I'll read that in after we've heard this next piece of music. And this is called You're the Storm, and it's by a band of people called the Cardigans.
Oh, it's healing, bang, bang, bang. I can hear your cannons call. You've been aiming at my land. Your hungry hammer's falling. And if you want me, I'm your country. I'm an angel poured like hell, and you're a devil meaning well. You steal my lines and you strike me down. Come raise your flag upon me. And if you want me, I'm your country. If you win me, I'm forever. Oh yeah. 'Cause you're the storm that I've been needing. And all this peace has been deceiving. I like the sweet love and the silence, but it's the storm that I believe in. Come and conquer and drop your bones. Cross my borders and kill the calm. Bare your fangs and burn my wings. I hear bullets singing. And if you want me, I'm your country. If you win me, I'm forever. Oh yeah. 'Cause you're the storm that I've been needing.
Well, take care in this big storm, because it wouldn't do to get blown away at all, would it now? And we've got a particularly storm-themed piece of music to finish, but I'll tell you about that shortly. I was about to... Well, we got as far as the 1732 representation made to the ecclesiastical court. The curate and wardens represent the court that there is a superstitious custom which is yearly continued and practised in this and the neighbouring parishes by many young people, and some of riper age, going to the top of Snaefell Mountain upon the first Sunday in August, where, as they are informed, they behave themselves very rudely and indecently for the greater part of that day. Therefore they crave that the reverend court may be pleased to order what method must be taken to put a stop to this profane custom for the future. The court consistorial, in consequence of this order, ordained that publication be made yearly on the 2 last Sundays in July by the minister, for the time being, after the Nicene Creed, that whoever shall be found to profane the Lord's Day after this wicked and superstitious manner shall be proceeded against with severe ecclesiastical censures, and the minister and wardens are hereby requested to do their utmost in discovering the persons guilty in this particular, and to make presentment thereof. But such methods did not avail against this superstitious and wicked custom, and in vain, too, did Bishop Wilson fulminate against it, as it was quite common 70 years ago. This is, of course, Cyril Ingram Peyton, or Patton, is he Peyton or Patton? I'm never entirely sure, writing in Manx Calendar Customs. So it is 70 years ago, and it is not quite extinct yet. Well, as I say, herself was up on Lair Lunas. She went for a walk up to the top of Barul. What was I doing on Friday? It was Friday, it was, because we were at Maughold yesterday. I don't know. Maybe it's just my age or whatever, but it's become forgetful. Anyway, I was definitely doing something on Friday. Well, it'll come to me, probably in the middle of the night. So yes, we need to be a little bit careful about this big storm that's coming. It does sound pretty severe. As Kinla says, don't forget to bring in your rabbits. Nergerud, the curse, die, the conyin. We wouldn't want them blown away. I suspect the garden might be looking a little battered by the end of all this wind that's coming. It's a shame because there's some nice-looking apples and quite a few plums that Victoria plums anyway, starting to ripen. I wonder how many will be left after tomorrow morning's big storm coming through. Yes, well, we'll no doubt find out. So yes, Nergerud and Sterem Moor. That's the big storm coming. Gael, of course, in Manx is the word for a gale, and Gia Nyatal is powerful or strong, and Gia Nyath and Nyatal are in Shasia is a line. The wind strong and strongly did blow. That's in, what is it called? Jana Bevan Skevin, of course, which. Yes, we may play that song to you at some point in the future, but not. We haven't got time now. We're almost at the end of the programme, and it has been a pleasure to host you again. I hope you've enjoyed The Who. Sadly, you haven't enjoyed Mishra, who remains stuck in the CD player number 1. I will try and get them out for next week because it's quite a good CD, that, or at least it promised to be. I haven't actually heard it yet, but it promised to be. Anyway, Bobby Bob is up next in the Clare na Gael studio, and this is The Hurricane by Bob Dylan.
Gullas Gaccan, brought to you by the Gaelic Broadcasting Committee.
shots ring out in a barroom night. Enter Betty Valentine from the upper hall. She sees a bartender in a pool of blood. Cries out, my God, they've killed them all. Here comes the story of the hurricane. The man the authorities came to blame for something that he never done. Put in a prison cell, but one time he could have been the champion of the world. 3 bodies lying dead as Patty see, and another man named Bello moving around mysteriously. I didn't do what he says, and he throws up his hands. I was only robbing the register, I hope you understand. I saw him leave and he says, and he stops. One of us had better call up the cops. And so Patty calls the cops, and they arrive on the scene with their red lights flashing in a hot New Jersey night. Meanwhile, far away in another part of town, Reuben Carter and a couple of friends are driving around. Number 1 contender for the middleweight crown. Had no idea what kind of space was about to go down when a cop pulled him over to the side of the road. Just like the time before and the time before that. In Patterson, that's just the way things go. If you're black, you might as well not show up on the street unless you want to draw the heat. Alfred Bello had a partner and he had a rap for the cops. Him and other Dexter Bradley were just out prowling around. He said, I saw 2 men running out who looked like middleweights. Jumped into a white car with out-of-state plates. And Miss Patty Valentine just nodded her head. Cop said, wait a minute, boys, this one's not dead. So they took him to the infirmary. And though this man could hardly see, he told him he could identify the guilty man. The wounded man looks up to his one dying eye. Say, why'd you bring him in here, boy? He ain't the guy. Here's the story of the hurricane. The man the authorities came to blame for something that he never done. Put in a prison cell, but one time he could have been the champion of the world. Later, the ghettos are inflamed. Reuben's in South America, fighting for his name. Well, Arthur Dexter Bradley's still in the robbery game. And the cops are putting the screws to him, looking for somebody to blame. Remember that murder that you happened in a bar? Remember you said you saw the getaway car? Think you'd like to play ball with the law? Think it might have been that fighter that you saw running that night. Don't forget that you are white. Dexter Bradley said, I'm really not sure. The cop said a poor boy like you can use a break. We got you for the motel job and you're talking to your friend Bello. You don't want to have to go back to jail, be a nice fellow. You'll be doing society a favor. That son of a bitch is brave and getting braver. We want to put his ass in the stir. We want to pin this triple murder on him. He ain't no gentleman jail. Reuben could take a man out with just one punch, but he never did like to talk about it all that much. It's my work, he'd say, I do it for pay. And when it's over, way up to some paradise where the trout streams flow and the air is nice, and ride a horse along the trail. But then they took him to the jailhouse where they tried to turn a man into a mouse. All of Reuben's cards were marked in advance. The trial was a pig circus, he never had a chance. The judge made Reuben's witnesses drunkards for the slums. To the white folks who watched, he was a revolutionary bum. And to the black folks, he was just a crazy nigger. No one doubted that he pulled the trigger. And though they could not produce the gun, the DA said he was the one who did the deed, and the old white jury agreed. Reuben Carter was falsely tried. The crime was murder when, guess who testified? Bello and Bradley, and they both all they lied. And the newspapers, they all went along for the ride. How can the life of such a man be in the palm of some fool's hand? To see him obviously framed couldn't help but make me feel ashamed to live in a land where justice is a game. Criminals in their coats and their ties are free to drink martinis and watch the sunrise, while Reuben sits like Buddha in a 10-foot cell, an innocent man in a living hell. Yes, that's the story of the hurricane, but it won't be over till they clear his name and give him back the time he's done. Put in a prison cell, but one time he could have been the champion.